Welcome to our channel, Catholic Connection. Dear Faithful, with this video, we will delve into a topic that we are sure has sparked your curiosity at least once. Our focus is on the 12 apostles, also known as the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ. These individuals were Jesus' closest companions and followers during the gospel narratives. However, many might not be familiar with their backgrounds. So, we'll provide a summary of who these 12 individuals were and what is known about them. The term apostle translates to a messenger in English, someone dispatched with a message, or a delegate representing a person or cause. In this context, the apostles were sent out to spread Jesus Christ's message and represent him. We'll explore their stories through the 4 Gospels in the New Testament, namely the books of Mark, John, Luke, and Matthew. These texts, authored by 4 of the apostles, reflect their personal experiences. Though minor discrepancies exist in these accounts, they are generally attributed to the different perspectives and contexts of the authors. There is also ongoing discussion regarding the true authorship of these books, whether they were written by the apostles themselves or by others documenting their lives. The Gospels describe how the apostles were drawn to Jesus. Some narratives depict Jesus meeting the apostles for the first time, while others suggest that some apostles had previous connections to him, such as through John the Baptist, who baptized Jesus. It's important to note that the John mentioned here is not the same John who authored one of the Gospels. The first apostles Jesus called were 4 fishermen: Peter, Andrew, James, and John. Notably, Peter, originally named Simon or Simeon, was renamed by Jesus. Such name changes typically signify a profound transformation in character. There is some debate about whether Peter had a wife and children, but it is clear he was fishing with his brother Andrew when Jesus encountered them. Throughout the Gospels, Peter plays a significant role, including his attempt to walk on water towards Jesus and his thrice denial of Jesus during the crucifixion events. After Jesus' death and resurrection, Peter embarked on missionary journeys, becoming a pivotal evangelical figure. His leadership laid the foundation for apostolic succession, the practice of apostles consecrating others, ensuring their legitimacy. This succession is especially significant in Catholic and Orthodox traditions, though many Protestant denominations do not adhere to it. Peter's death remains somewhat mysterious, but tradition holds that he was crucified by the Romans, possibly upside down. The Basilica of St. Peter in Vatican City is traditionally thought to be constructed over his burial site. Peter's brother Andrew also became a follower of Jesus. After the resurrection, Andrew traveled to spread the gospel and was eventually crucified in Patras, Greece. He deemed himself unworthy to die in the same manner as Jesus, so he was crucified on an X-shaped cross, which is now known as a St. Andrew's cross. Today, the Basilica of St. Andrew in Patras houses his relics. When Peter and Andrew left their fishing trade to follow Jesus, they were joined by another pair of brothers, James and John. This James is known as James the Great, indicating he was older. James is depicted in the Gospels as having a fiery temperament, once asking Jesus to call down fire on a Samaritan village that rejected them, a request Jesus denied. James was martyred in the book of Acts, beheaded by King Herod. After his death, he became the patron saint of Spain, although the reasons are debated. Some traditions suggest he preached in Spain before returning to Judea, where he was executed. His remains are believed to be enshrined at Santiago de Compostela in Spain, though how they arrived there remains a matter of speculation. James's younger brother John shared a similarly intense disposition. Jesus nicknamed the brothers the Sons of Thunder. After Jesus' resurrection, John played a crucial role in spreading the gospel and is believed to have lived to old age, unlike the other apostles, providing him ample opportunity to establish early Christian teachings. He is traditionally credited with authoring other New Testament books, including Revelation, though this is contested. The name John was common, leading some scholars to argue that different individuals named John might have written these texts. John's Gospel also exhibits significant differences, likely because it was written many years after the others. Matthew, also known as Levi in two of the Gospels, is identified as a tax collector who immediately left his job to follow Jesus and hosted a meal for Jesus and the apostles. Tax collectors were despised, so this act demonstrated Jesus' willingness to associate with marginalized individuals. Post-resurrection, Matthew's missionary work is believed to have taken him to places like modern-day Iran and Ethiopia. Thomas is famously known for doubting Jesus' resurrection, hence the nickname Doubting Thomas. He declared he would only believe Jesus had risen if he could see and touch Jesus' wounds. Jesus later appeared and fulfilled Thomas's request. Tradition holds that Thomas traveled as far as India to preach the gospel, and his remains are said to rest in what is now the St. Thomas Cathedral Basilica. Philip's life, both before and after the events detailed in the New Testament, remains largely unknown. It's also easy to mix up the Apostle Philip with a notable evangelist who shared the same name. There is a letter believed to be from Peter to Philip, urging him to rejoin the other apostles, suggesting that Philip had been away for some time, though the reason for his absence is unclear. The exact circumstances of Philip's death are uncertain, with some accounts suggesting crucifixion. Next, we have Bartholomew, who is frequently mentioned alongside Philip, indicating they may have met Jesus around the same time. After the resurrection, Bartholomew is thought to have traveled to India and later to the area near Armenia and Turkey. His death remains a mystery, though some traditions claim he was flayed alive and beheaded after converting the king of Armenia to Christianity. I previously mentioned there were two apostles named James. The second James, often referred to as James the Less, was younger. Very little is documented about him, and he is mostly listed by name among the apostles. The abundance of individuals named James in the texts creates confusion, making it difficult to trace his post-resurrection activities with certainty. Simon the Zealot is another apostle, distinguished from Simon Peter by his title. He is often associated with Jude, another apostle, and they are believed to have journeyed through Armenia, Egypt, and Lebanon together. The details of their deaths are not well documented, but a common belief is that they were martyred in Lebanon, and their remains are said to rest in St. Peter's Basilica. The final of the original 12 apostles is Judas Iscariot, infamous for betraying Jesus and subsequently hanging himself, as described in the book of Matthew. After Judas's death, Matthias was chosen to replace him. Interestingly, Matthias's selection occurred after Jesus' ascension, implying he was part of the broader group of Jesus' followers before being elevated to apostle status following Judas's betrayal. Another significant figure often mistaken for one of the 12 apostles is Paul. Initially known as Saul, Paul was a staunch opponent of the early Christians and sought their imprisonment. His life changed dramatically after an encounter with the risen Jesus, who appeared to him and struck him blind for 3 days. Paul went on to write many New Testament books, around 14, and was eventually beheaded by the Romans. He is believed to be buried at the Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls in Rome, which, though located in Italy, is owned by the Vatican. This brief overview touches on the complex and rich histories of these apostles, whose stories are often debated by historians and theologians. Thank you for watching, and we hope this serves as a captivating introduction to their lives. If you enjoyed the video, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. See you soon.